Today we are doing a video on the Zimaboard 2. This was provided to us by Zimaspace, and let's go ahead and get into it. My audio was corrupted for this part, so I am doing a voiceover, so bear with me as we get into it. But as you open it up, the packaging is beautiful. You have welcome to Zimaspace. As we get it open, we have the Zimaboard 2, and then we have the accessories. As we get the accessories out here, we are going to look into this a little bit later, but let's go ahead and move this to the side so we can look at the main attraction, which is the Zimaboard 2. Inside of the Zimaboard 2, there's not that much. Once you get it open, you're directly advertised with a nice thank you note from the company, from Zimaspace, and then you have the beautiful Zimaboard 2. Once you get that out, which we will look at a little bit later in all of their ports, we have documentation, which is just, different languages, teach you how to use the thing, and that's all you need to know about that, and that's all that's in the box. So in the accessories box, we have a bunch of numerous things. We have the fan that you can install on the Zimaboard 2 because it is passive cooling. You have the power adapter. This also comes with multiple adapters depending where you are from, whether it's the US, the UK, and then you have the SATA Y cable and then the screwdriver to be able to install everything. So they really do include everything, which is awesome, and I really do appreciate that. On the Zimaboard 2, it has a bunch of different ports. It has a PCIe port, 2 USB 3.0s, 2 2.5 gig NICs, the power, mini HDMI, and then it as well has 2 SATA ports. And that is pretty much it. We're going to go ahead and get into the ZimaOS, show you guys everything that we got going on there, and let's go ahead and get into it. Once we are in our browser and I went ahead and got an IP, I went ahead and set a DHCP reservation of my router. So we should be able to go to 192.168.6.191 and press enter. It should take us to the login for the web UI of ZimaOS. I went ahead and did a lot of configuration, so a lot of stuff won't be there if you guys are setting up for the first time, but let's go ahead and log in very quickly and see what we got working with. So as you guys can see, this is the web UI of ZimaOS. I have a lot of stuff set up, and I'll kind of go through that, what kind of issues I've seen and anything like that. So on the left side here, very simple, we have the time, the system, which you can sort by CPU and RAM to see what is going on your Zimaboard. You have storage, which for me, I have 2 NVMe M.2 1TB drives set up in RAID 1, which is my fast storage, and then I have a 18 terabyte and a 16 terabyte hard drive, which is my big storage, set up in RAID 1, so I only have 16 terabytes usable. Now this was so easy to set up. It automatically found the drives. I selected the ones I wanted to use for the RAID. It did everything else for me, and it was just a great seamless experience. So the next tab we have, we're actually go up one tab here. We have the general tab where we can set the wallpaper and the login screen and some just, nice settings. The language, English, the time zone for the time at the top left here. They do provide a search engine. I go ahead and turn it off. I don't use it, but you can keep that on if you want. You have disk standby. I always keep that to never so nothing goes to sleep. You can customize the web UI port if needed, if something else uses port 80, such as if you run something like Nginx Proxy Manager or Caddy. And then we have the news feed, which I also have disabled. This is a relatively new setting, which is the UPS. It can connect to a UPS, which is really nice. I can actually turn that on and you can see how you can connect that, but I don't have one. I do have a more home consumer UPS setup, but it's not gonna connect on here. So we can reset it if we want to. Obviously, we're not gonna do that. And we also have developer mode. Here's where we can join the beta experience. You can enable SSH if you need to SSH into your Zimaboard. If you want to turn on HTTPS, DLNA, Samba, which I also have turned off because I'm not using any of those services right now. And then you have Zima AI search for the search index, which I also have turned off. So if we go back to the left side here and click network, we have our ports here. I am using DHCP. You can set a static if you want. I believe you can set it here. Yep. But since I'm using a reservation, I don't need to set a static. I only have one cable plugged into one of the 2.5 out of the 2 gigabit ports. And then we are obviously on Ethernet, and then we have virtual network remote. This is the name. This is actually kind of cool. So here, if we look down here, we have remote access, the remote ID, and then it is turned on, which means I can download either the Zima client for the desktop or my phone, and I can remotely connect to my Zimaboard and do configuration from there, which is actually very nice and handy. The very last tab here, we have the app section. We have the app data, the app image, and the user database. The top one is using my fast storage. This holds all the container information, helps with speed. The app image holds all the Docker images. And then you have the user database, which is, you know, your images, your downloads, your documents, your media library, all that stuff. And that is obviously going to be my big storage of my 16 terabytes. And then it also allows you to clear your cache for Docker. I could clean up 3.14 gigabytes. I will probably be doing that later. And then at the very top here, it also tracks your updates for you of your containers. So it looks like I have an update for MB as well as Home Assistant, and I'll make sure to do those later as well. So if we close out of this, that is the settings. You can also see the network here, and then you can also turn on or off these widgets at the left side here. So everything that I'm running, I will get into in just a little bit, but we have the App Store, Files, Backup, ZVM, and PeerDrop. These are the 5 things that actually come pre-installed and pre-set up on your Zimaboard. The App Store has one repository preloaded, and it has 397 apps that you can choose from. You can either click here and click install, or if you want to customize your install, you can do that as well, which is awesome. One more thing with containers, if you wanted to import your own Docker Compose, you can go to the top right here, click plus, install a customized app, and at the top here you'll see import. You can either do Docker CLI or import your Docker Compose, and then you can do it that way as well, which is what I've done with a few of my applications. The next thing we have is files. If we go into that, it actually has its own UI that it'll navigate you to. You have the documents, downloads, your gallery, which is where I hold my image photos, and then you have your media, which is where I hold all my movies, my TV shows, and my music. And then you have backup, which I have not set up yet, but I'm planning to, but I will show you guys in the backup section once we get there. You have all your storage, and then you can also connect your external drives if you want, which is awesome, your cloud services. And that is pretty much the files you can get. You can also share that out to where you can connect to it via your Windows PC and do other things like that. For the backup thing that we were talking about earlier, they recommend you doing a 3-2-1 backup, 3 data copies, 2 storage media, 1 offsite. And then you can click add here, and then their backup is awesome. All you have to do is select, hey, this, my cloud, if it's at LAN storage, USB, Zima storage, and then you select the destination of where you want to back that data up to, which is awesome, and it works great. I have set up a backup before in here. I just haven't set it up exactly how I want it yet, so it's not set up. So here we have a ZVM, which I believe is their virtual machine manager. I have not used this yet, but I will probably end up looking into this a little bit later. But it looks, it looks great. You can do a custom install, provide an ISO, or they have preloaded ISO ones. I'm sure download from the internet. That's awesome. I have not played around with that yet, but it looks very cool. And then you have PeerDrop. The closest thing that I can say PeerDrop is related to is probably like an Apple AirDrop related replacement. You can share things directly from your network straight to here, and it's immediately on all your devices, which is awesome. So that's PeerDrop. You have settings, which we already went into, and then we have my containers. So currently on my Zimaboard, I'm running obviously a good amount of containers, and I mean, you can see right here, my Zimaboard is running around 100 degrees Fahrenheit, only 2.67 watts, and then 16 gigs of memory. So I do have the 16 gig version. I forgot to mention that a little bit earlier in the video, and I do apologize. So I'm practically using nothing, and I'm running Flame, which is my dashboard, Navidrum, which is my music server, Image for my backup of my phone's photos. I have MB, which is my media server. You could do something like Jellyfin or Plex as well. Joplin for my notes, a Joplin server, Prowler for my indexers, Radar for my movies, Sonar for my TV shows, and my Home Assistant to control all of my smart home things. And then down here, this is grayed out because I'm actually running this. I set this up using SSH, and I'm running it all in the back end, and it's running a bunch of containers. It's running Gluten, and it's running Qubit Torrent, and a bunch of other services because Gluten allows you to do VPN, and so all of those services are under my VPN. that is pretty much ZimaOS in a nutshell. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys want to see anything else with the Zimaboard, let me know. I'm thinking about doing some other projects with it, but if you guys want to see that project or just follow along with me, let me know, and I will catch you guys in the next video.